What's up guys, JT Tapias with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan, and today we're here to speak about the shocking truth behind your favorite snacks. Find out how the food industry manipulates your taste buds to keep you coming back over and over again. Let me ask you a question. Are you in control or are you being controlled? Why is it that after each crunch, we always say, Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to stop munching on cookies once you've started? Well, it turns out that the food industry is putting a ton of science and technology into making those snacks utterly irresistible. They play around with sugar, salt, fat levels, plus a bunch of other additives to hit what they call the bliss point. That's the magic spot where your taste buds light up and your brain just wants more. It's not just about making food taste good. Scientists delve into neuroscience and sensory science to figure out exactly how our brain reacts to these flavors and textures. They're aiming to hook us. I don't know about you, but once you start eating those chips, you simply can't stop. Making these foods irresistible, right? You're craving them over and over again. Some individuals that worked in the industry are now speaking out, and they're not happy with their past role promoting products that, let's face it, aren't exactly the best for our health and our waistline. This raises significant ethical questions about the whole setup. Even though there are more products nowadays boasting about being healthy, the primary goal for these companies remains making snacks and meals that keep you coming back for more. Products that taste so good that you can't help but overeat. This is all about keeping their profits rolling in and keeping you reaching for another bite. More often than not, clients in our program, at least once a week, ask me about crunchy snacks. They ask me if they can incorporate them into their daily routines. I always find it super interesting when people associate something auditory with something gustatory. It doesn't make any sense unless, of course, you understand how emotional anchors work. Emotional anchors are what happens to us when we're in a heightened state. If someone touches you a certain way, or you hear something while you're sad, happy, scared, or bored, any of those up or down emotions, this generally creates an emotional anchor in us. Let me give you a perfect example of that. You're driving down a dark road and suddenly you see police lights and you hear a siren go off. This immediately it induces panic in most people because we associate the lights and the siren with being stopped by the police and potentially having to answer for something that we did on the road. Every time we see a police car, we are reminded of that specific emotional anchor. Now, bringing it back to food and the association to the crunch, it works like this. The tastefulness of the salt hitting your palate makes us secrete dopamine. Dopamine is that neuroreceptor that's associated with well-being. This creates a powerful emotional anchor that you are reminded every time physically and emotionally of that particular hunger. Considering this, here are some healthier options so that you don't get in trouble with having to go for the chips or the cookies or any of the crunchy stuff, the crispy fried chicken that gets you in trouble. Here are some options. So number one, raw veggies, right? Carrot sticks, cucumber slices, celery, bell peppers. These are all naturally crunchy and low in carbs and salt. Number two, you can always bake cheese. You can make these at home by baking a small heap of shredded cheese until it's crispy. Number three, you can do kale chips. All you have to do is wash and tear off the kale leaves, lightly toss them with olive oil and bake them until crispy. You can sprinkle a little bit of salt and season it with some spices like paprika, garlic powder. This will add a little bit more taste to it. Number four, not my favorite, but still an option, is seaweed snacks. These are naturally low in carbs and can be low in salt if you choose the unsalted versions. Number five, zucchini chips. Slice zucchini lightly and coat it with a little bit of olive oil and bake it until crispy. You can add seasonings and spices and maybe a little bit of salt to bring a little bit more flavor to it. Lastly, it's important to know that the less you eat of these things, the less you're going to crave them. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks to eradicate the cravings once and for all. And these are some of the fundamental pillars that we establish within the Empty Your Bucket nutrition plan to help and teach people how to sustain their results for a lifetime. I know that sounds like a bold statement because you've probably been on a bunch of different diets and you've lost the weight and gained it back, you lose it, you gain it back. That whole yo-yo dieting cycle can be very, very, very frustrating. But I'm here to say that the reason you haven't been able to eradicate those cravings is simply because you continue to spike a ton of insulin. Insulin spikes or secretes dopamine, and you're addicted to these foods. So you keep coming back over and over and over. So it doesn't matter if you count macros, calories, points, or you do any of those dynamics. If you continue to feed, as my good friend would say, if you continue to put milk outside the door, the cat will always come to your door, right? We need to eradicate these things. We need to go into abstinence from these things so that we can regain control and be able to self-regulate. Until you do that, it doesn't matter what strategy you bring in, you're gonna continue being dependent on these foods. And so, I know that I've said a lot, but more importantly, what I want you to stay with here, what I want you to get is that when you say to yourself, when you hear yourself saying, I just missed that crunchy thing, that should automatically tell you that you are very dependent, that you've created some emotional anchors around that crunch, because let's face it, it's not normal to associate something auditory with something gustatory. Think about it for a second. And you'll start to see that not just the crunch, but there's a bunch of other emotional anchors in your life around food. And the beautiful thing is to start uncovering what those things are so that you can create healthy boundaries. And then when that temptation and that trigger comes up, you know exactly what to do. This is what we teach our clients inside of the Empty Your Bucket nutrition plan. If you're interested in getting coaching, I would say go to emptyyourbucketplan.com, schedule a free consultation, no strings attached. I promise you, even if we're not the right fit, you'll walk away with 3 incredible tips that will get you further ahead in the game and help you bring your goals to fruition once and for all. My name is JT Tapias with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. If we're not friends yet and you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. And I'll see you on the next video. Talk to you then. Ciao, ciao.